I'm David Scandura.
I'm Justice Burkett.
And today we're here to find out, is The Raid the greatest movie ever made?
Selamat bekerja. Dan jangan lupa bersenang-senang.
Welcome to The Greatest Movie Ever Made, the show where we watch a movie and tell you if it's the greatest movie ever made.
I'm screaming because Penchik Silat, a martial art that apparently is 30% screaming.
Yeah, and this the script for this movie, about 70% screaming. Why have dialogue when you can use bullets, punches, and screams?
I just love any moment of this movie where a guy is running down a hallway at another guy screaming at the top of his lungs, which happens approximately like 68 times in this movie.
Movie that is so thoroughly entertaining and compelling that while you're watching it, it's the only thing that matters in the world. I'm David Scandura, joined once again by my co-host Justice Burkett.
Yes, that's me. I don't know Penchik Silat. I would love to be killed by a guy who does, though. I bet when you get picked up by your leg and swung into a concrete pillar, it feels really good for like half a second. Also, that guy who gets thrown onto the fucking not the banister, but you know what I'm talking about. Like there's like the wall around like the central like atrium thing. You know, that guy who gets like thrown into that by Rama and his back like breaks. I'm like, I bet that actually felt kind of good. Just the best back crack of your whole life, and then you immediately die.
Yeah, just for about half a second.
Yeah.
Also, we're picking up people and slamming them into walls so many times in this movie.
From my limited knowledge of Indonesian martial arts, the entirety of which comes from this film and John Wick 3. It seems to mostly be about throwing dudes into things.
Yeah.
And also, like, putting guys in headlocks and just punching them a bunch of times.
And, like, waving your arms a bunch in between moves.
Yeah. The choreography in this movie is fucking awesome. It's, like, most of the movie, like, most of the runtime of this 100-minute movie is martial arts. I also love that this movie turns from a gun movie into a swords and knives movie and then into a hand-to-hand movie.
Right, because it's sort of implied that they all run out of bullets.
Yes, and then they all run out of machetes.
Yeah.
And then they're just slapping each other at the end. It's fucking rad. I love that the first act of the movie is guns, and the second act is machetes, and the third act is fists. More action movies should be structured that way, where the acts roughly map onto the weapons that people are using. Yeah. Oh man. The Raid, dude. So like, I picked this movie. I had never seen Gareth Evans' The Raid. I know you had.
Yes.
We had a listener recommendation for this one a while back. It was in a YouTube comment on one of our uploads there. So I don't have the requester's name. Apologies if you're listening and I'm not giving you your call out. But like, when we got that request, I was like, yeah, we'll eventually get around to The Raid. And I'll eventually get around to The Raid has sort of been my relationship with this movie, like, since it came out. So like for the last like 15 years, I've been like, I'm going to get around to The Raid because this movie like made like a pretty big splash like when it came out. Like it wasn't kind of like a sleeper hit. Like it was at Sundance and there was talk about it. And then like as soon as it got an international release and like a physical release and stuff, people were like buzzing about this movie. Like I have heard this discussed in conversations about like the greatest action movies of all time for years, and I just hadn't ever gotten around to it.
Yeah, that was me for a while too, because I think this is one of the defining action movies of the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get John Wick without this.
No.
We don't get David Leitch's like Atomic Blonde and Bullet Train. That heavily choreographed style of action movie doesn't happen without The Raid. And like it's happened before, you know, Jackie Chan movies,
Yeah.
Bruce Lee movies.
I mean, even like Old Boy, like it kind of feels like the hallway fight from Old Boy. Like Gareth Evans saw that fight and was like, "What if the whole movie was the hallway fight from Old Boy?"
Right, because you could say the hallway fight in The Raid, and you're talking about like 6 different fights.
Yeah. Like most of the runtime in this movie is dudes beating the shit out of each other in hallways. Also, I did say at the end of the last episode when we were teasing this one, I said I couldn't wait to see guys getting killed with hammers. I realized that I was actually thinking about The Raid 2 because I hadn't seen either of those movies. I hadn't seen this one, and I still haven't seen The Raid 2. And I was like, oh, there's no one being killed. Well, there's one guy that gets killed by a hammer in this movie, but it's mostly off screen. And I was like, I know that there's a thing with The Raid and hammers, so I was looking it up. And there's a character in The Raid 2 called Hammer Girl.
Yes, Hammer Girl.
Whose weapon is hammers.
She has hammers.
So that's what I was thinking of.
The Raid 2 is interesting.
Yeah.
The Raid 2 is I watched this when I originally watched these movies. I watched this. I think I watched The Raid 2 a few days later.
Yeah.
And The Raid 2, by contrast, is 2.5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Rama investigating the criminal organization that's alluded to at the end of the movie.
Right. Sort of feels like the natural evolution.
Yeah. And he goes undercover. And it's basically The Departed, but every 15 minutes people are beating the shit out of each other.
I mean, that sounds kind of cool, but like one of the things that makes this movie so good is sort of its smaller scale. Like it feels very contained.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for the larger scale of The Raid 2.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I feel like when an action movie has is so invested in showing the choreography, like keeping the plot simple but not necessarily like it's not like the plot of this movie is compelling and interesting, but it's like it's not very complex, you know? And I feel like that works to its benefit because like so much of this movie is just like about the visuals and about like the choreography and the sort of the human spectacle that is on display with all of these like very talented martial artists, doing what they do, you know? And so I don't know, like I'm interested in seeing The Raid 2, but like knowing that it gets maybe a little bit more convoluted isn't necessarily a thing that I'm like, yeah, that's the direction this franchise should go. Like I kind of just want to see Rama like have to go into another apartment building, or like maybe we just change locations and like now he's on a battleship.
Yeah.
you know? Or now he's on, I don't fucking know. Now he's instead of an apartment building, it's a shopping mall, right? Like that I would be down with.
Right, kind of give it the Die Hard formula.
Right, totally. Like just change the location and just do the same thing basically.
Yeah, I like that too. I would be interested to see how I would feel watching The Raid 2 again because it is so different, but also in a lot of ways it amps up the action from this one.
Yeah, and I don't want to judge a movie I haven't seen, and I am very interested in seeing it after seeing this movie.
But the direction this movie takes was very intentional.
Yeah.
Gareth Evans and a lot of Indonesian names in this podcast. We're gonna mispronounce them, so just getting that out of the way.
We're gonna do our best, and no disrespect to any of the people involved in this movie whose names we are gonna mangle.
Yeah, Gareth Evans and the great Uwais, who plays Rama and is also credited as a choreographer on this film.
Yeah.
They met.
Also, Gareth Evans is credited as a choreographer on this film, which is crazy to think that this like Welsh guy just like learned Indonesian martial arts and became a fight choreographer for this insane action movie.
Yeah.
Especially when you see pictures of Gareth Evans, he just kind of looks like a doughy Welsh guy.
Yeah, he moved to Indonesia to make a documentary about Pencak Silat, and then met Iko Uwais, and then they collaborated on an action movie called Merantu. And after getting reviews that like it took a little too long to get to the action in that movie, he set out to make something that was just no holds barred action all the way through.
Yeah, he's like, okay, note taken, buckle up, bitch.
Yeah, so he made The Raid, a movie in which approximately 1 billion people die.
It's so crazy how many dudes are just dropped in this movie. Like it truly, like you said, like we wouldn't have John Wick without this movie. It's like, yeah, John Wick took The Raid's formula and was just like, oh yeah, the way to make an action movie now is just 100 dudes have to hit the floor every 40 minutes. You know?
Yeah, just hire a stunt team
Yep.
and make the lead actors do their own stunts and choreography, which is not a thing that we generally do here in America.
No, yeah.
Kill a bunch of people and show it. And show 5, 10, 15, 20 different moves in a single shot without cutting away.
Yeah. That's we'll talk more, I'm sure, about the camera work in this movie and how it complements the choreography. But that was one of my big takeaways from this movie, was it's just like, so much of good choreography in an action movie is knowing how to shoot it, you know? Because it's like, you can choreograph the shit out of an action movie, and yet, if the camera is too far away, or the camera's too close, or you're cutting too often, or you're not cutting often enough, you're like doing the choreography an injustice, you know? There's like a perfect balance between like what the performers are physically doing and how the camera is capturing it, that I think The Raid is like, if you want to know how to shoot action, like, just watch this movie.
Yeah.
You know?
They prevised this movie by choreographing and editing the action scenes in pre-production.
Yeah.
So they had like a pre-production version of the fight scenes to reference. So Gareth Evans knew what he was going to edit and knew where he could cut when they went to actually shoot them on set.
Yeah. That sounds like a great idea, and it served the movie really well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it does. I think there's a continuity to the action, there's a fluidity to the action that up until this point Western audiences hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And that's what has led to the modern wave of action movies in Hollywood, and I think we're sort of starting to reach the point where maybe we're becoming oversaturated with them.
Right.
And I'm just kind of wondering what the next move is.
Yeah.
Like where we're going from here.
Right. Because it's like, we've done sort of the 80s thing where it's like the lead is like a muscle-bound freak shooting a huge gun, but like the fights are not very like elegant or balletic in the way that they are now, you know? And like before that, it was kind of like, if I think about 70s action movies, what I think mostly about, other than like obviously like the Kung Fu movie influence, like that was in like the 60s and 70s, right? But if I'm thinking about American action movies, I'm thinking about dudes basically just slugging each other, right? And it's like, yeah, like how do you evolve? Like now we've gone from like, we've gone from sort of the kung fu movies that were coming out of China and the East, and that influence like cross pollinating into Hollywood, and then we had like the whole 80s thing, and now we have this, and it's like I guess in the 90s too there was like the whole like John Woo thing too.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the 90s also is,
and The Matrix.
The Matrix is a big one. It's one of the other ones where like we're starting to see Asian influences creep over into American cinema.
Yeah.
But I think in the 2010s, we get a lot of sort of like, I would say maybe the end of the 2000s and the 2010s, we get the Taken ripoffs.
Yeah.
And the Bourne Identity ripoffs.
Right.
And that shifts us to the more shaky cam style action with a lot of quick cutting and pretty simple cut and dry revenge plots or spy thriller plots, and it seemed like the movies like The Raid were kind of the breath of fresh air that American action audiences needed.
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the next evolution of the action genre looks like, other than obviously like the sort of action genre adjacent thing that superhero movies occupy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like those are also action movies, but they're kind of a different thing, and it also seems like those are sort of on their way out in terms of like popular like critical appreciation, but now that we're halfway to our verdict, we should probably ask each other how we are. How you doing, David?
I'm having a rough time.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
You don't want to talk about it? It's
no,
fine.
it's okay.
All right, cool. I'm not having a rough time. I'm like, it's been like ping ponging for me, and like in multiple ways, because like I feel like so much of how I'm doing, listeners to this show will probably have picked up on this trend, is like associated with like my own um sort of like self-evaluation of like my productivity, like
Oh yeah.
how well how good I'm doing at my job is a lot of the time wrapped up in how I'm feeling. And I just feel like lately it's been like I'm either doing no work or all the work. And it's like I wish I could find balance. Balance is like such a thing that I like struggle with. And I've been like feeling that very acutely lately. Like it feels like yesterday I had the most productive day of all time. And then like the day before that I did nothing. And it's like I wish I could, instead of either of those things, just do a regular amount every day. And like no matter how hard I try, it feels like it's just that is not a thing I've managed to get a grasp on yet. So yeah. And then the other thing, which I don't want to spend too much time talking about, but I feel like I do need to voice this to somebody, is like just like the horrors have been getting me down.
Oh yeah.
And like I know the horrors are always getting all of us down. Like the world is like bad and everyone knows it, and like nobody wants to talk endlessly about it because everybody knows, and but at the same time, I'm like, I am a person who usually doesn't talk about it. Like I'm a person who is usually like, yes, as we all know, the world is bad. And then like just this week specifically, it feels like I have been like I've been rendered like catatonic at multiple points this week, because I am like, how the fuck are any of us gonna make it through what is happening right now? Like,
yeah, and
like,
I struggle with,
what a
with
nightmare.
I struggle with the balance of staying informed of the horrors,
Yeah.
and spiraling on social media to the point of that catatonic state that you were talking about.
Right.
It's like I don't know how to keep up and also keep myself sane.
Yeah.
And I understand that's like speaking from a place of privilege.
Yes, both of us are, right? As white dudes who are generally mostly safe in the current political climate in this country. It's like, yeah, we're speaking from a place of relative privilege, and at the same time it's also like even for us it feels bad, and then also knowing that it is worse for people who are not us, who I care about, is also like that's not a good feeling either, to know that people that I love are feeling worse than me, And it's like, and ultimately like what you can do is just like check in on people and be there for people and stuff. And it's just like, I wish there was more I could do. And like, to some extent it's like, am I doing enough? And then there's that whole thing. And it's like, yeah, it's just been really getting to me this week. It's been really getting to me. And like, and we're here to talk about a fun action movie. But we're here to talk about a fun action movie where the protagonist is a cop, and like the raid is like, we'll get into the plot of the raid and how it deals with like police and stuff, and I feel like it's like not a bad offender in terms of like action movies being propaganda, but it's also not immune. The raid is not immune to propaganda, right? And so I just want to say, in reference to the horrors and also the subject matter of today's episode, fuck ICE, and also like fuck authoritarian regimes, and like I just we're here to have a good time today, but at the same time like ACAB includes Rama, unfortunately. Like just like fuck all of these people, and like power makes you evil. And I've just been like ruminating on that a lot, as I know a lot of people have, and just being like, what the fuck can we even do about this? We should just like wrestle power away from everybody who holds it, and then destroy the ability for anyone to hold it ever again. Anyway, that's how I'm doing.
Yeah, it's rough out there.
Yeah.
Lean on each other, rely on each other, look out for each other.
Yeah.
Fuck ICE. And abolish police is my opinion.
Yeah.
And be kind to yourself.
Yes.
That's a message. That's a message to you, the listener, you, Justice, sitting across from me, and
Thank you.
also me.
Yes. You be kind to yourself too.
Thankfully, we have highly choreographed, extremely violent Asian action movies
Yes.
to provide us some shred of catharsis
Yes.
in these troubled times.
Yeah, I kind of do think I really needed the raid this week. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
We didn't do media recommendations, but I do want to say that I went to go see John Woo's Hard Boiled
Oh yeah.
in theaters in Phoenix
With two previous guests on the show.
previous guests, Kevin Hurley and Val Moffat,
Mhm.
meeting them in person for the first time, and I had a wonderful time.
Great. I'm really glad you, Kevin, and Val had a good time seeing Hard Boiled.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there, but also I was glad that I was not in Phoenix.
I didn't want to be there either, but I was trying to make the best of the situation.
Yeah, it sounds like you did.
Yeah.
I still need to see Hard Boiled. I'll get around to it eventually. Yeah, the raid. So yeah, like I said, first time with this one. We pretty much covered all the background stuff
Yeah.
prior to the check-in. So like the movie. The movie starts with with Rama doing his like Mark Wahlberg morning routine. He's getting prayed up and he's working out before the sun comes up.
4 a.m. crew, getting up and working out.
He's taking a cold shower and fucking I don't know what else. What else that maniac's doing? Fucking drinking lemon juice or whatever the fuck. But yeah, Rama is he's a police rookie, right?
Yes.
And he's getting ready for the raid, for the titular raid. He's got a pregnant wife. I thought this lady was toast, but it turns out it's not that kind of action movie.
No, it's just
Yeah.
it's just the catalyst to like get you invested in the character, and like he has someone he's trying to come home to.
Yes, it is action movie 101. Why do we care about this guy? Well, he's about to be a dad. Right. The thing that I also like about this opening, though, and this kind of leads into a thing that a point of praise that I have for this movie that I think maybe puts it a little bit above similar action fare that I've engaged with, is it's like, yeah, he's got the pregnant wife. That's like an obvious action movie trope. Then, like, as he's going out to go to work, there's like his dad is in the living room, like sitting there. He's clearly been up all night worrying, right? And Rama says to him, you know, no matter what happens, I'm going to bring him home. And first of all, I did not actually realize that this was his dad initially, because the piece of praise that I have is that this movie, Gareth Evans, I think, is a good writer. And he trusts the audience enough that he does not spoon feed you everything in this movie. So even though the plot is relatively simple, it's not like simple and over explained. It's like it's a simple plot that you also still kind of have to think about in order to put all the pieces together. And there are moments of this movie that straight up surprised me because he doesn't spoon feed you everything. He doesn't have characters like overtly explaining their relationships. He doesn't have characters referring to each other by their names all the time so you know who everybody is right away, right? And so when he's talking to this guy in the living room, I, for a decent chunk of this movie, thought that guy had been his wife's dad, and that the whole time, because that exchange kind of makes it clear to me, like there's some kind of family connection. There is some kind of family member in the apartment building that he's going to be trying to save, right? And the whole time I was like, it is a brother-in-law situation. It's her brother, and this is her dad, is kind of what I thought for most of the movie, until Rama and Andy have their talk. And then I was like, oh, it's his brother. And I just like that the movie like is ambiguous enough for enough of the runtime that you can sort of think the wrong thing, and then the movie sort of gently corrects you and doesn't like beat you over the head with all this stuff.
And you can kind of forget about it.
Yeah, totally.
Because the movie doesn't make a ton of references to it. And I think the only other thing that happens before Rama and Andy meet that suggests something, that suggests something deeper is, I think, Andy kills a couple of guys in an elevator.
He kills those guys in that elevator, yeah.
And it's like, okay, so why did he just kill his own guys? But okay, whatever. We're killing a bunch of people in this movie. Let's see how it plays out. And then when you get to the scene with Rama and Andy, it comes together.
So I have had a really interesting experience watching this movie and watching that elevator scene specifically, because what I was just saying about like this movie doesn't spoon feed you stuff. The police squad is rolling up for the titular raid, right? So we have our crew of guys. We have Jaka, who is like the sergeant or whatever.
Yeah, played by Joe Taslim.
Joe Taslim fucking rules in this movie. He's so good. And the lieutenant, there's the lieutenant guy too. And this fucking crew of dead meats. And they're rolling up and he's briefing them. Jaka's briefing them. And he's talking about, okay, so there's Tama, who's like the leader of this like drug ring.
Yeah.
And then he has these two lieutenants, Mad Dog and Andy, and he's talking about Mad Dog is, I think he says he's a maniac of fists and feet, which is such a cool way to describe a guy who's just good at beating the shit out of people. And then he's like, he's like, yeah, and Andy is the one who kind of keeps Mad Dog in check, but don't underestimate him. He's like also a badass. And then they cut from that, and I really love the cut because he's talking about these three guys, and then we just cut directly to them. And they're all just like, it's like Tama in the middle and then Andy and Mad Dog on either side of him. But the thing that sort of allowed this movie to take me by surprise is they never tell you which one is Mad Dog and which one is Andy until way later in the movie. And so, because nobody is calling Mad Dog at any point, right? And so I was like, I assumed the bigger guy was Mad Dog and the smaller guy was Andy. And because they don't tell you for so long, when Andy killed those two guys in that elevator, I still thought he was Mad Dog. And I was like, well, clearly Mad Dog's killing these guys because he has to get revved up for killing because he's the maniac, right? And so, like, then when it was revealed that he was Rama's brother and he was Andy, I was like, oh shit, I thought that guy was Mad Dog the whole time. Yeah.
No, and once Mad Dog starts fighting,
yes,
then you realize it's Mad Dog.
That's when I realized it was Mad Dog,
yeah,
right?
Because he's just kicking motherfuckers.
Yeah, and it really was a plot twist to me in a way that I don't think was totally intentional by the movie, but the movie allowed me to be surprised because it's not overwritten. Because in the scene, those two scenes are right next to each other when Andy and Rama have their conversation, and then when Mad Dog fights Jaka, right? Those are like kind of sandwiched together. And so when Mad Dog has Jaka at gunpoint and like backs him into the room and closes the door, and then like puts the gun down, I was like, oh, he's the guy Rama's looking for. This guy's actually a secret good guy. That's why he's not going to kill this guy. And then he starts beating the fuck out of him, and I'm like, wait, no, this is Mad Dog. That guy's a maniac of fists and feet. I was wrong. I had it switched around. It really kind of floored me in a way where I was like, I don't know if I'm just dumb or if the movie's smart. But yeah.
The reveal that I love is I think later in the movie you realize that Tama has been wearing flip-flops the whole time. And you're like, yeah, that guy would.
I didn't realize he had been in flip-flops the entire time until he was shot in the head.
Yeah.
And then there's the aerial shot from above.
Yeah.
And I was like, that motherfucker's wearing fucking thongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the introduction scene, which is like, it's perfect. You just need to know that this guy's a fucking evil douchebag.
Yeah.
Just show him executing people.
He shoots 5 guys in the head and then runs out of bullets and looks surprised. And it's like, you know that you only have 5 fucking chambers in that 44 or whatever. And then he's like, oh, I'm out of bullets. And I love him putting the gun on the guy's shoulder and being like, look after that for me for a second. And then he goes and gets the hammer from the drawer. And this is the first moment where one of my favorite things, maybe my favorite thing about this movie, happens for the first time, which is the camera follows the trajectory and momentum of the hammer swing and like swipe cuts back to the van. And so many times in this movie, the camera is moving in concert with some kind of like attack or weapon, right? Like a lot of the times when someone like swings a weapon, a great example is when they're busting through the floor with the axe.
Yes.
Right? Every axe swing, the camera is going up when the axe is raised and then like slamming down with the momentum of the axe being swung down. It happens over and over. And like when we start getting into the hand-to-hand stuff in this movie, that filmmaking device has been so well established in the first two acts where people are using weapons that it feels so fluid when the camera just starts following people's limbs. And I was like, it really is like sort of marvelous to watch. And the hammer swing sets it up so well. It's a moment where it's like so showy that you're like, whoa, that was like a really like fun camera move that they just did. And then it becomes such a part of the visual language of the movie from that point on that like every time it's deployed, I was just like, man, like I love how we're ramping up our usage of this technique until it's like seamlessly part of the fight sequences.
Yeah, it's very good use of visual language to communicate something to the audience. One of the things that I love is when someone goes through the hole in that floor, the camera follows them down and then reorients to show what's happening on that lower floor and continue the action. And watching the behind the scenes, it's like, yeah, they had a guy in a harness lower the camera through the floor and then pass it to a guy on the floor below to keep it going.
That's so sick.
And it's it just feels like a lot of creative decisions went into how to shoot the action and how to keep things moving and communicate the visual information to the audience.
Yeah. I feel like people who listen to this podcast, especially our action movie episodes, are maybe tired of hearing me say the word kinetic. But this movie is fucking like the camera is so kinetic. Like it is moving around, not quite in like the camera is an object way, right? But it's like the camera is like attached to the action in like in a way that I think is like really it just makes it really exhilarating. Like it makes this movie like when at times this movie has been like operating at a 10 for so long that it is like at risk of becoming maybe overwhelming and desensitizing. And I think the thing that helps it avoid that is that the camera is always sort of like part of the action rather than an observer of the action. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think this movie occasionally leans into the shaky cam a little bit too much. They were trying to do something that was like evoking a documentary, so that's how you get the color grading. That's how you get the handheld camera. There are some shots that I remember in this movie that are just maybe a little bit too shaky, but I don't think the choreography is ever sacrificed because of it. We're never losing sight of the choreography.
No, and everything is really easy to follow.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
And it's fucking great. This is another thing with the action movie episodes. We're just going to be like, yeah, that thing happened and it was cool.
Right, yeah. So they show up at the building. The crew of dead meat cops, right? And they like initially it's like pretty easy to get in, like almost suspiciously easy for them to get into the building. There's like one guard watching some fucking TV show about clowns or some shit. I love the shot of like the hands appearing out of the darkness behind him with the garrote and him just like getting like pulled into the darkness of this doorway by that cop. And yeah, so then they like get into the building. They're like clearing rooms. They're like zip tying guys' hands together. Because basically the whole thing with this apartment building is that Tama runs the whole building. Everybody there is basically under his thumb. And he has like set this up as a place where like the worst of the worst can like go hide when they have heat on them. So basically everybody in this building is like a murderer and shit.
Yeah. And other gangs have tried to take control of it, but he's wiped them all out.
Yeah, yeah. And then also just one normal guy lives there.
It's just one guy is like, yeah, the rent's cheap, man.
Yeah.
Utilities included.
I love this guy just showing up and being like, I'm taking my wife her medication. And this huge crew of like SWAT guys is like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, I just live here, man.
Times are tough.
all of my neighbors are murderers. It's the only place that I could get fucking my security deposit back. It's the only place that was rent controlled in all of Jakarta. So then this asshole's just tagging along for a little bit.
Yeah, thankfully not too long.
No, yeah.
This isn't an escort mission for
Yeah. I do like that his purpose is basically to establish the one member of the cop brigade who's like just a dick. Cuz this guy's like giving this dude a hard time, and Rama's like, "Hey man, like cool it. Like we'll get this guy back to his room." And he's like, "Fine, he's your responsibility then. Fuck you." And it's like we know asshole cop guy is like going to be a character because he's one of the only guys who gets a personality trait.
I also like I think one of the guys they arrest is like a drug addict who's strung out on something.
Oh yeah.
And they flip him over and he's got poopy pants.
Yeah, he shit his drawers. I do like that there are basically 3 types of tenants in this building. There are like crazy machete wielding murderers, and then just like junkies who are strung out and don't care that like bullets are flying through their drywall, and then the one regular family. Like that's everyone who lives here. It's either like you're doing heroin and shitting your pants, or you're like a slasher killer, or you're like this one guy and his wife.
Yeah. Just don't look the machete guys in the eye, and
Right.
don't look the tweakers in the eye. Otherwise, it's a pretty
You're
sweet
golden.
place to live.
You're golden. I was thinking, like, as we got further into this movie, and it was sort of revealed that this movie's take is sort of like the cops are just another gang. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a thing that this movie is doing, which I appreciate. And there's like, definitely some truth in that idea. It did start striking me. I was like, if you really think about it, like Tom is kind of like a community organizer, like he's like giving these people a cheap place to live. If they bring him the heads of cops that they're killing, he's going to let them live here for free. He's making it happen, like maybe I don't agree with his methods, but he's building a community.
Well, he's kind of like Mama in Dread.
Yeah, okay.
Similar movie to this, which I knew we would talk about at some point.
Yes, I was thinking about Dread a lot while
especially
watching this.
because Judge Dredd is explicitly a fascist.
Yeah. And also, this movie and Dread both have literally the exact same premise, which is we have to get to the top of a giant apartment building to kill the drug kingpin who's on the top floor. Like, it's like the exact same setup. And I know that Dread didn't rip off this movie because Dread was in production for years.
Yeah.
And it came out the year after this. So it's like they were being worked on at the same time. Like, this is just a case of parallel thinking.
But yeah, there's like some similarities, like how both of them, the villains mocking people on intercom.
Yeah.
And then they have like a big display of TVs that they can monitor cameras from.
Also, to be fair, now that I think about it, both of those movies are also just Die Hard. Like, Die Hard is also that.
Yeah.
Where it's like guy at the top, there's a bad guy at the top of the building.
Yeah. But sometimes we throw a bad guy down 20 stories to intimidate someone.
One of these days we will do Dread on this podcast, because it has just like Hans Gruber being tossed off of Nakatomi Plaza is a great villain death. And then like Dread was like, what if we did Hans Gruber getting tossed off of Nakatomi Plaza literally on steroids? Like literally, like let's just juice that.
Yeah, what if we make characters' deaths beautiful and psychedelic?
God,
Yeah.
I want to do slow-mo so bad. Yeah, if you want to get the full experience of the Raid episode, watch Dread 2012. Just pause the episode, watch Dread, and then come back to this. I will say, though, Karl Urban, fantastic in Dread, way less charismatic than the lead of this film. I think by design.
Yeah.
He's sort of not supposed to be charismatic.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be sort of like a Terminator.
His primary character trait is scowling. So like,
yes, he's just frowning through the whole movie. To the point where at the end I kind of had forgotten that it was Karl Urban and his name showed up in the credits and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's like fucking that's the guy from Lord of the Rings."
I love that Carl
That's a Hail
Urban
Mary.
Carl Urban has made it his life's mission to make Judge Dredd movies.
Yeah.
He's like, I love this character. I was born to play this character. Please give me more Judge Dredd movies. I will do literally anything to make more happen.
He just wants the top half of his face covered.
Yeah.
I mean, probably our greatest helmet-wearing actor between Lord of the Rings and Dredd.
True.
One of our greatest helmet guys.
That's a great helmet in
It's just a head
Lord of
that's
the Rings.
begging for a helmet. Speaking of helmets, it was a little tough for me to clock who was who in the first act of this movie because all of the police guys are wearing identical helmets. Identical uniforms in general, right? Which is very true to life. Like they would all be dressed identically. But I was kind of having a hard time being like, wait, is that guy Rama? No, that's not Rama. To the point where like when the first gunfight breaks out, I thought multiple times that asshole guy had been killed. Because I was like, oh, that guy was no, he just had facial hair too. Oh, no, that guy also just has a mustache. Like I kept thinking that like I kept seeing the same guy get killed over and over again, and then I was like, no, that's just a guy who looks vaguely similar while dressed identically. But by the time the fisticuffs break out, it's very clear who is who. Just it was only confusing in this initial part of the movie for me, and I was never getting confused about the drug kingpins goons. Because they're all dressed very differently, right? It's like, oh yeah, there's a guy in a red t-shirt. Right?
I like that it's a bunch of guys in t-shirts and sneakers.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
Lots of Adidas track pants in this movie.
A couple jerseys and stuff.
Yeah.
Some guys in polos, which I thought was fun.
Yeah. There's also, this is a great guys with faces movie.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many guys where it's like, even if they're not like principal players in this movie, there are guys when you're just like, anytime they show up, you're like, oh, that's that goon who I clocked a minute ago. The best example of that to me is like the main machete heavy, who is, the character's name is Bowo, and the actor's name is Tegar Satiria, and this guy, like, he just this wide-eyed like maniac performance, and he's also like big
because
like
he doesn't blink.
Yeah,
he's just walking around with his eyes pulled back.
Yes, he's a great guy with a face. I also think that Ray Sehatapi, who plays Tama, is a great guy with a face. Like that's just like an all-timer face. He's got like a weathered catcher's mitt of a face.
Yes.
You know. But I do have to give the fucking golden crown of guys with faces in this movie, and also a welcome back to the show to Yayan Ruhian.
Yeah, Mad Dog himself,
who plays Mad Dog. This guy has one of the best faces in action movies. Anytime this guy is on screen, you cannot look away from him. He is like, he's so you just don't get guys who look like this in movies that much anymore. And even in 2011, like we were sort of phasing out character actor faces, and I just love that there's just a guy who is in most of this movie who looks like this and is like, he's so compelling. I think his performance is really good. He's also obviously a great martial artist, but I think on top of that, he's like a pretty solid actor. And I love looking at this guy. And immediately when I saw him, I was like, oh yeah, that's the guy from John Wick 3, because like he just makes such a big impression in that movie. And so like seeing him again, I was like, oh, I would know this guy anywhere. You know, he kind of has like character actor movie star energy.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
Well, in John Wick 3, he's one of the Shinobi twins,
Mm-hmm.
and the other actor is actually in the Raid 2.
Right. Yeah.
Sisep Arif Rahman.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who's kind of the Mad Dog of that movie.
Oh, cool.
So it's just like
it's two Mad
Dogs fighting John Wick.
Yeah. I love him. He's phenomenal. But so yeah, like any of these like villain guys, I'm like, oh, I know exactly who that is. because like all the guys on Tama's side of things have like very distinctive looks, you know. But yeah, so they enter the apartment building, and pretty early there's like this kid who they see at the end of this hallway, and Jaka is very like, he's like he's playing this cool. He's like, hey, like, we're gonna put our guns down. We're gonna let this kid know that we don't mean any harm. He's like trying to approach him slowly, and then this kid like bolts, and immediately this fucking lieutenant, who's really like, this guy's really the villain of the movie more than Tama is.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
He immediately just fucking ices this child. Just like this kid gets shot by the cops in spectacular fashion. Like it's an upsetting moment. You don't love to see this kid getting shot through the neck. It's also pretty stylish though. Because there's the slow-mo bullet coming through the door and then just going through this kid's neck.
Yeah, I kind of liked seeing this kid get Charlie Kirked.
It's
not gonna lie.
He does get Charlie Kirked. He deserves it less though.
Sure.
Because all he was trying to do was let his homies know that the cops had showed up. He was just trying to do the community a solid.
He's just a kid trying to survive in a gang-controlled apartment complex, you know?
Yeah, he's like, the fuzz is here, man. I got friends up there fucking shitting their pants doing heroin. I don't want them to get arrested. Yeah, and he just gets iced by this fucking prick. But yeah, it's that moment is one of several moments in this movie that I think are like very like beautiful and like well like a good use of like the slow motion effect. There's like a little bit of like digital fuckery, like CGI in this movie. There's not a lot, and I think it's like pretty carefully deployed. And in moments like this, where it's like the bullet coming through the door in slow motion and then going through this kid's neck, it like looks really cool and looks it looks really real. Anytime CGI blood is deployed in this movie, which is not often, mostly we're doing real squibs. But anytime there is digital blood in this movie, it looks good and was not distracting to me.
Yeah, the digital effects are all of the gunshots, all of the muzzle flashes, the bullets being ejected are all digital because they were using airsoft guns. And then there is some digital set extension, particularly in the courtyard to make it look like there's multiple stories.
Yeah.
One of the some of the exterior shots of the apartment complex are CGI. It's not very well, and then there's a propane tank. That's
the propane tank does look. It did remind me of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, the fucking tower blowing up in that, and it just suddenly turning into PS4 graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the real blood, the use of the real blood's good, and the most of the digital effects in this movie I can excuse.
Yeah, some of those exterior shots are a little rough though. I do agree with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this kid drops like a sack of potatoes, and then like immediately it's basically like the whole fucking apartment building is notified that the cops are here, right? And so then we have like our first initial sort of like shootout as a fallout of this, right? Because the cops kind of flood in, and they're like, oh shit, you know, they know we're here. There's some fighting before the power gets cut, right?
Yeah, Tom was watching the whole thing on his monitors, so he sends out a couple of snipers to take out some of the guys that have been left behind to watch the people that have been arrested.
Right.
And
yeah.
there's like the guy that slips out of the zip tie handcuffs. Like he's Anton Chigurh.
Yes, that moment is so rad when he like he like steps through the zip tie, or his hands that are zip tied together, so that his hands are in front of him, and then he pulls the machete from its secret hiding place under the kitchen table.
Yeah.
And I also love that like as cops are getting close to the windows, the snipers are just taking them out. that moment where like the guy has the machete and like the other cop has like gone to see his buddy who got shot through the window, and the guy comes up and swings the machete, and again the camera moves with the machete swing and then cuts away. It's like it amps up the tension so well. I love all the build up. It's so good.
And then the guys in the van get blown away by like a hit squad, which is great.
Yeah. That moment is just like action movie insanity. We're just expending fucking 1,000 bullets to kill 2 guys.
Yeah. And then the lights get cut in the stairwell, and I think this movie makes great use of silence and finding breaths in the action, and this is one of those moments where they're just taking cover behind the stairs trying to figure out what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And then the camera pans up, pushes through the darkness, and then we see that there are guys gathered on the floor above them and opposite them with AKs.
And as the power gets cut, Tama comes through the PA system in the apartment building, and he's like, "Hey, like, there's some fucking visitors here that we don't want. Anyone who deals with these cockroaches gets to live here rent free." And I love him at the end of that being like, "So, you know, do what you do and enjoy yourselves." I just love that little flourish that he puts on it. Also, like, I don't know. I hope it's not like weird for like a white guy to say this about a language that he doesn't speak. But Indonesian just sounds cool as fuck. It's like when Tama is doing the whole like monologue through the PA, just listening to the words in Indonesian, he sounds so like menacing, but also like playful. And some of it is the actor's performance, but also at the end of his little speech, like some of it is just like the words in Indonesian have like a ring to them. Yeah,
when he says enjoy yourself, you can feel him ringing those words out.
Yeah. And throughout this movie, I was a lot of the time thinking about how I enjoyed the performances and how I enjoyed the line deliveries, but there was also a part of me that was just like, Indonesian is a cool sounding language. Like, I just like hearing this language be spoken, you know? And that was one of the first moments of that for me. But so then like one of the cops is like he's like opening a door or something, and he's like gonna clear the door on the other side. And so he like shoots his shotgun off. And you see like the muzzle flash illuminate the like atrium area briefly, and you see like it's again slow motion. You see the shadows of the guys on the level above in the atrium, like on the walls, and then like everybody just starts shooting.
Yeah,
because they see the one muzzle flash and they're like, that's where they are. And then it's just like 100 guys are firing machine guns. And it's sick. It's a cool shootout.
And they're all pinned down. This is like minutes on end of them just changing magazines over and over and over.
Yeah. I like that there's the one guy who you can clock who's like one of the drug goons who like gets winged. He like gets shot in the shoulder, and that makes him start shooting more. Like he like just doubles down. And so like I was watching that guy for a lot of this fight because he like gets shot and then just takes out like 6 more cops after getting shot.
Yeah, humans are quite expendable in these movies, but also like hard to kill.
Mm-hmm.
These Indonesian gangsters have a lot of grit and determination and resolve to keep fighting.
Hey man, free rent.
You know, free rent.
I don't know. Like, if my mortgage was covered for the rest of my life, I might fucking shoot some cops too.
Parody satire.
Yeah, right. Of course. But parody satire does not apply to what we said about Charlie Kirk earlier. We were serious about that.
We can. He's already dead. It's fine.
Yeah. You can't make death threats about a guy who's already in hell.
Also, we've started alluding to the fact that like something's up with the lieutenant, because he and Jaka are talking, and the lieutenant reveals that like they're out here alone.
With no
backup.
backup.
No one knows that they're there.
Yeah, and
This
Jaka's
wasn't
like,
an authorized raid.
yeah, and Jock is like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then like the shootout starts happening and the lieutenant just shits his pants basically. I love how he's like a big weenie for like most of the movie, and then once we start raiding the drug labs, suddenly he's like, wait, I remember how to fight. I think push comes to shove eventually with him and he's like, fine, I'll bust out the fucking police training now that I have no other option.
Yeah, that's also funny that he's only doing like he does like a couple of moves because he's an old guy.
Yeah.
It's like we have to give the old guy something to do, but he's not going to move as fast as the younger guys.
No, but it seems like he's really strong. He's like slow but strong because he's like his moves are like hitting a guy with a chair and like toppling a filing cabinet over on a guy.
Yeah,
Like it feels like he's like a big bruiser, you know?
yeah, and I like that it's a different fighting style than everything else in this
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's later. They eventually the survivors after running out of bullets all fall back to the to one of the apartments on the floor.
Yeah.
And this is when they start axing through the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Below.
Because basically they barricade the door shut with some furniture and like the drug goons are going to get in. Yeah. So they just start like cutting through the floor to escape down a floor. And I love after they axe through the floor, the first guy who jumps down there from the overhead shot through the floor, we see him just get mobbed by like 4 dudes.
Yeah.
Like they just like tackle him and take him out of frame. And it's like, oh shit. So then they go down there to help him. And that's the moment that you were talking about where they pass the camera through the hole in the floor. And then this moment is maybe like the beginning of me realizing how good the choreo in this movie is going to be, because like a guy gets axed in the shoulder with the fire axe that they used to cut a hole in the floor. He's trying to pull the axe out of his shoulder, and then the guy who axed him like raises the axe up to try and like get it free and pulls the dude's whole body up with the axe, and this guy gets like flung down onto the floor. The axe comes out, and then this dude just axes him in the stomach. And it's so fucking rad. That axe kill was my early favorite kill of the movie, and then others topped it. But yeah,
Yeah. Others definitely top
yeah,
top it. A guy gets thrown out of a window and we get a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And so like they dispatch the dudes in this room, but then more guys are showing up, and they're like at the door again. And so then this is where we do the fridge thing, right?
Yeah, Rama just finds a propane tank in a cabinet, chucks it in the fridge, and then gets someone to help him move the fridge
in front of the
front of the
doorway.
door, and then tosses a grenade in and just like
and just blows up this fuel tank.
yeah.
And there's a CGI explosion that doesn't look very good. Oh, also before that happens, like they're going to try and escape through the floor again. They're going to try and do the same thing.
Yeah.
But then there's guys below who are shooting up, and one of the guys on the floor below shooting up through the floor wounds asshole cop. So like he gets shot like in the face. But he's not dead. He's just like
he's got like his ear blown off or something.
He's torn up a little bit. But yeah, so then the fridge explosion happens. And, like, the monitor dies, and Tom is like, what the fuck's going on? And he tells Andy and Mad Dog to, like, get down there and figure out what's going on. And we see all the cops, like, wake up in the aftermath of the explosion. I really like this little scene. You were talking about the breaths that this movie takes between action scenes. I think this is a great one, where they all kind of wake up shell-shocked after the explosion. And Rama, like, gets up and sees the surviving guys. There's basically, like, I think there's like 5 guys left because there's Rama, asshole cop, Jaka, the lieutenant, and one other guy.
And then they split up.
Yeah. And so Rama helps asshole cop back through the hole in the ceiling. And I love how they shoot this because like the camera is like on Rama and asshole cop as they're like getting up to like go through the ceiling, and then it like moves, it like pans over to show you the lieutenant and Jaka and the other guy going out through one of the doorways, and then it swings back around, and it's just like the legs of Asshole Cop disappearing through the hole in the ceiling. It's just really sleek, like cool camera work.
Yeah.
So then we get the introduction of the machete guys here, led by Bowo, who is like our early, he's like the mini boss, right? Like if Mad Dog is the boss, like Bowo is like the mini boss.
There are mini bosses in this movie. Yeah. And the introduction of the machete guys is just like all of these guys lined up with machetes, and it raises the stakes with that simple shot. There's a lot of sneaking around and like hiding from the machete guys that maybe goes on a little bit too long, because we're introduced to them, and Bowo is prowling around like he's fucking Jason Voorhees. and then we get a whole fight scene with Rama.
Yeah.
And then cut back to Jaka and the lieutenant and that group, and they're still hiding.
Yeah.
But we have the fight scene with Rama.
Yes, which is it's so fucking sick. Yeah, because like basically Rama's idea is like, I have this injured man. I know that there is one regular guy who lives in this building, so I'm going to impose on the one normal dude and make him help this injured cop. You wouldn't be able to do this in America because we have that amendment where like soldiers can't just fucking board in your house or whatever.
Yeah, the Third Amendment.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit more relevant now than it ever has been.
Yeah. But apparently they don't have the Third Amendment in Indonesia. Or maybe they do, and that's why he has to knock. Otherwise, he could just bust this door down, I guess. So he's like, I'm going to take you to the one regular guy in this whole apartment building and see if you can take a nap on his couch. But on his way to do that, like they get attacked by all the people on the 7th floor. And I love all of the choreography in the scene, but also a thing that is so funny at the beginning of this fight is that Rama is still supporting Asshole Cop as he's fighting, and he's just kind of throwing Asshole Cop around to allow him to fight these guys. And you see like the douchebag cop like getting slammed against doors and being like, oh. It's so good. Just this guy getting abused incidentally is very funny.
Yeah, and he drops him at one point, and Rama's like around the corner fighting other guys, and then Asshole Cop just starts crawling over this sea of bodies.
Yeah, and like a guy who's not quite dead is like trying to like grab at him, and he like stabs him a bunch of times.
Yeah. Rama makes a guy shoot himself in the head.
That's cool.
That's kind of like I think that's the end of this.
Yeah.
Of this scene, because a guy comes out, like opens a door, has a gun in Rama's face, and then he struggles with it and makes him shoot himself in the head.
Yeah, and then Bowo hears that from a couple floors down, and that's when he's like, there's guys up there.
Yeah.
My favorite part of this fight, the Rama hallway fight with all these guys, is because he truly, like, listener, if you have not seen The Raid, he takes out like 16 guys in this fight. It's insane, right? So we can't go through all of it, but my favorite one is the one where he like after like a multi-move like crazy fight with one of these guys, the way that he ends it is he grabs this dude's head, and there's like these like lights that are on the walls of the hallway. He smashes this dude's head into one of the lights and then smashes his head into the wall like 5 or 6 times as the guy is sliding down the wall. Like the guy's body is sliding down the wall, and he just keeps hitting the dude's head on the wall on his way down. It's so sick. I love it. But yeah, so like Rama is basically like, he's banging on the door. He knows more guys are coming, and he's like, hey, like, you gotta let us in. I got an injured man here. I love this guy's wife being like, don't open that door. Don't get involved.
I swear to God.
I swear to God.
Don't open the door for the fucking those fucking cops.
You're always doing shit like this. Yeah, I love her in bed just being like, this is not your fight, man. Like, you can just tell him to fuck off. And he's like having a moral crisis. And I'm like, dog, listen to your wife.
Yeah.
Like, this is not your problem.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you just like lock the door and let this guy get iced, your rent might be free. So, but he lets him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're looking around for a knife to dig out the bullet with. And the guy comes back with a butter knife, and the asshole cop is like, "Fuck you, look again."
Yeah. And they end up doing it with the cheese knife. There's also the whole thing where like Bo-O and his goons come in, and like the guy has like hid them in his wall.
Yeah.
He like pries open, there's like a false panel in his wall, and they're like inside the walls of the apartment. And Bo-O's like looking for the cops, so he's like turning over everything. He's like knocking pictures off the wall, and then he just starts stabbing the machete through the wall, and he like slices Rama's face, and Rama has to clean the blood off of the blade of the machete as it's being taken out of the wall, so that Bo-O doesn't see blood on the machete and notice that they're there.
That's a great moment.
Yeah, it's so cool, and it's really tense and like so yeah, he leaves asshole cop there and is basically like, "Hey, I know this guy's a dick. He's a good man. Look after him. I'll make it worth your while somehow." And he goes off to find any of the other cops who are alive, basically, right?
I like the shot of when he comes back into the main stairwell, and there's the guys climbing to get to the higher floors.
Yeah.
Over the ledges.
Yeah.
So he this is when he breaks the guy's back, throws him on one of the ledges. And then he fights Bo-O in one of the apartments.
Yes. So just as I was thinking that this movie's color palette was a little too bland and a little too gray green for me, I was like, this movie's really rad. I love the choreography. It's visually maybe a little bland. Then this apartment fight happens, and suddenly there's like so much color saturation. Like there's greens and reds and blues in this apartment, and it's like the movie predicted that this is the point when I would be getting bored with the visual palette of the movie and knew to change it up. It's like Gareth Evans was watching the movie along with me and was like, "It's time for some color," you know. And so I really appreciated that. And I think this fight is, it's probably not my favorite fight of the movie, but it's up there. It's so cool. I really love, Bo-O v Rama, because Bo-O is like such like a big, like, muscle bound, like bruiser type. And Rama's like a little smaller. So it is kind of that thing of, it's like, it has the energy of like watching Indiana Jones fight like a way bigger guy.
And I think there's a couple other guys in this fight too. And I think one of them, they do the thing where he kicks and he catches the kick and then swings him into the wall.
Well, also in this fight, because Bo-O does have a couple other guys. In this fight too, when they break open the door to the apartment that he ends up fighting Bo-O in, the door gets busted, not off its hinges, but like they bust through the door, and so there's like some jagged remnants of the door at like ground level, and Rama like kicks one of these dudes, and the guy lands neck first onto the splinters of the door.
He doesn't kick him.
Oh yeah.
I watched this multiple times because it is one of the weirder cuts of the movie.
Oh yeah.
He like shoves him against the wall, then grabs his head.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Launches backwards.
Yes. It's so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this guy just gets like speared through the neck with these like door splinters. It's so fucking rad. I love it so much. And then he goes in there and fights Bo-O. And like, I love the Bo-O fight. I love that he's like, for a while, like Bo-O's like kind of throwing him around, and then he kind of gets the upper hand, and it ends up kind of like beating the fuck out of him, and you think Bo-O's down for the count, and then there's like a great like almost Michael Myers moment where Rama turns away from him, and like out of focus in the background, you see Bo-O get back up, and that's when he takes him out the window. And they fall 2 stories onto the fire escape. Yeah. And Rama falls on top of him. And he's like twitching and like dying. And then like the outside snipers start taking pot shots at Rama. So he has to go back into the building. It's also like, it's just so like elegantly choreographed, like everything like even him falling 2 stories down, you immediately know like where he is, because he was on floor 7, because that's where the good guy's apartment is, right? And then he went up a floor, right? And then when he falls down and then goes back into the building, you're seeing 600 numbers on the doors, so you immediately know that he's like gone down 2 stories. And it's all of it, the geography of the building is like so clear the whole time, which I think is pretty impressive with how frantic a lot of this action is, you know. That you being able to like clock all of it spatially is impressive.
Yeah, and what you said about like the color grading and stuff, and how that the scene adds color. Gareth Evans also knows like when a particular location in the apartment building is getting a little tired.
Mm-hmm.
So even just like him going through the window and falling 2 stories, it's like a really brief change of location to get us to the next thing, but it also just like adds a new element to this movie.
Yeah.
Where there's like, okay, now they're outside for a second.
Yeah.
And now they're going to go back in, you know? And stuff like the hiding in the wall too. It's a long sequence that they spend hiding in that wall.
Yeah.
As he's shoving the machete through. So he really knows how to change things up just when the audience is getting bored.
Yeah. Yeah. It really feels like at multiple points in this movie, he was like, it feels like him predicting a criticism that someone could start to have, and then like veering away from it. Being like, okay, I feel like if I was watching this movie at this point, I would start feeling this type of way, so I'm gonna zig and I'm gonna zag, you know. It all feels like very like, it feels like very like intuitive filmmaking. Like it feels like he just has like a really good sense of how to keep the audience engaged, you know. But yeah, so
Jaka fights Mad Dog.
Yes.
We learned why Mad Dog has fights with a fury of feet and whatever it was.
Yeah, he's a maniac of fists and feet or whatever. And if you're me watching this movie for the first time, this is when you realize that guy is Mad Dog. I love him putting the gun down and like he takes the magazine out, he takes the round out of the chamber, and he's like, I never liked using these things. Pulling a trigger is like ordering takeout.
Yeah. That moment where they have each other, like Jaka has him at knife point and Mad Dog has him at gunpoint, and they just slowly lower them.
Yeah.
It's one of those breaths that I think makes the pacing of this movie a lot smoother.
And Mad Dog sends the other goons away, because basically what happens is like Mad Dog and his goons encounter Jaka and the lieutenant and the other guy in the hallway. And the lieutenant is a coward, so he just runs, right? And the other guy goes with him because Jaka orders him to. He's like, stay with the lieutenant. And then, and so then it's like 3-on-1. And then Mad Dog is like, hey, the 2 of you go after those 2 guys. This guy's mine.
Yeah.
And he like, backs him into the apartment. And it's such a good moment. And it is one of those moments that's like, this does feel really reminiscent of martial arts movies from decades past, right? Because even though we're doing like a dirtier, more brutal, more violent thing in this movie, this scene sort of has the energy of like a Bruce Lee movie or like a Chuck Norris movie or something, where it's like we have like 2 masters who sort of respect each other having a duel.
Yeah.
You know?
And Joe Taslim hasn't quite had the opportunity to show off his martial arts.
No, he's mostly been shooting a gun so far. Yeah.
Like Iko Uwais has. And this is a great showcase of his talent. And like enough that there's another Indonesian action movie that's on Netflix called The Night Comes for Us.
Yeah.
Directed by Timo Tadjahjanto, who recently did Nobody too, with Bob Odenkirk. Joe Taslim is the protagonist of that one.
I really gotta watch The Night Comes for Us. Yeah.
And then Iko Uwais is a villain. He's one of the bosses in that movie.
Hell yeah.
Like the boss fights. And it's just Joe Taslim fucking raining hell on all of these gangs in The Night Comes for Us, and it's even more violent than The Raid.
I also love that like Yayan Ruhian is small enough that he makes Joe Taslim look like the Terminator in this scene. Like it literally looks like a giant like muscle bound.
Yeah, he looks huge.
Yeah, he looks enormous. And then Yayan Ruhian, you're like, how is this guy going to stand a chance? But he's so fucking fast. And also, like, this fight sequence is maybe my favorite fight of the whole movie. I love this fight because it is such a good showcase of the martial art of Pencak Silat, where it's like so much of this is clearly about using your opponent's mass and momentum against them. And this whole fight, I was like, there is something really like almost like reptilian about this martial art, where like if you watch like how alligators fight their prey or fight each other, so much of it is about like twisting into the momentum of like if you try and like grab a reptile, it'll twist into the grab, and that like makes it ineffective, you know. And so much of what they're doing is like, yeah, like a guy is coming at you from this direction, so rather than opposing it, you lean into it, or you know. And it's just like so many times in this fight, Mad Dog is like he's almost like climbing Jaka at points, and then like using his like greater mass to like toss him, you know, like throw him around him. Basically, I can't describe. It's impossible to describe good fight choreography. You have to see it, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like how the sound is used in the scene to tell the story too.
Yeah,
because it's you know, there's the music going, but when Mad Dog starts getting the upper hand on Jaka, the music cuts out, and then we get this sort of droning silence as Mad Dog tries to get on top of him and get his head positioned in such a way that he can twist his neck. And the silence like lets you know that it's over before it's even happened.
Yeah.
It drags it out. It drags the tension out before Jaka's neck gets snapped.
I really like the moment before that when Mad Dog has basically won the fight, like a few moves before that happens, because he like beats Jaka into the ground. And Jaka is like struggling to get up, and Mad Dog gives him a little space. He like kind of takes a few steps away from him and is just looking at him, and he waits for him to like get back up so that he can then launch himself at him and throw him again. And that's just such a great character moment for Mad Dog, where he's like, I'm not done with this fight yet. Like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to kill you when I'm bored. But until then, I'm going to keep throwing you around this room. It's like, it's so cool. It's like such a good, like, villain building, like, character building thing. It's so sick. Yeah, I love Mad Dog so much.
I love Mad Dog too.
He's so cool.
Mad Dog rocks.
Yeah.
He's the Chong Li
Yeah.
of this movie.
Right.
The way you kind of root for Chong Li in Bloodsport.
I would give anything to see a Bloodsport remake with like Yayan Ruhian in it. Like,
who would win in a fight, Chong Li or Mad Dog?
I think Mad Dog. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I kind of think Mad Dog.
Yeah, I think
Mad Dog just would want it more.
Mad Dog gets a fucking fluorescent bulb shoved in his collarbone and still fights.
Yeah. I think Chong Li is doing it for the crowd. You know, I think Chong Li gets his energy from the crowd.
Right. Chong Li's the rock star.
Right. I think Mad Dog gets his energy from within, you know, and I think that's the difference. I think Chong Li, like, he's playing it, he's doing it for the people. Mad Dog's doing it for Mad Dog, you know? And I think ultimately that would give him the edge. Yeah, this fight is so cool. I loved every second of it. It's incredible. Also, while this is happening, Rama is having the conversation with Andy.
Yeah.
Where he's basically like, hey man, I came to get you. And Andy's like, why? We learned that they are estranged. They haven't talked in 6 years. They're brothers. Which again was a surprise to me, because I was like, this is his brother, like this is his wife's brother, but it's his brother. And he's basically like, it's too late for me. I'm in this criminal underworld. And Rama's like, "You're gonna be an uncle." And that moment I actually thought was really sweet when he's like, because he's sort of not successfully convincing him to come with him, and then he's like, "You're gonna be an uncle," and just seeing the pure happiness on Andy's face on
Yeah.
learning that, where he's like really happy that his little brother's gonna be a dad, you know? And I was just like, oh yeah, there is sort of that like that undeniable like family bond thing that is like coming out in that interaction, that I feel like works really well. And it's like a shortcut that action movies take a lot. It's like, how do you get people to care about each other? Make them blood relatives, you know? But it's like it
works.
It
Yeah.
works.
And it's a well done scene. Like it doesn't feel like it was thrown into this movie out of obligation.
No.
It feels like it's just enough for what the audience needs, but it's still well written and well performed.
And I feel like thematically it also fits because like mostly this is a movie about dudes killing each other in awesome ways, but there is also like some thematic stuff happening here. And I feel like one of the themes of this movie is sort of like people take divergent paths in life. Like you might not
Yeah.
agree with the decisions that people you love make, but you can't stop loving them even when they're making choices you disagree with and stuff. And like I feel like this scene kind of is the thematic and emotional heart of the movie in a lot of ways, and it's paid off really well at the end when Andy is like walking him out of the compound and they kind of go their separate ways, but they like sort of respect each other's choices now, you know, where it's like Andy's kind of like, I do this because this is what I'm good at. And Rama is sort of saying the same thing.
Right.
Like Rama has the line in this scene where he's talking about how the uniform just feels right. It just fits,
Mhm.
you know? And then at the end we get Andy paying that off in where he's like, yeah, this fits me, you know?
Well, and it also kind of pays off in the raid too, where Rama has to go undercover and is the line between cop and criminal becomes blurred in that.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because what would become the raid 2 was actually developed before the raid. Because it was like, this is maybe too ambitious. Let's do something smaller scale. And then when it came to do the raid 2, he came back to those earlier ideas and fed them into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you know, Rama is going to be exploring his own relationship with the law and what it means to be a cop and what it means to be a criminal in the next movie. So having it, whether or not they had the raid 2 in mind when making this, having it sort of start here, I think was really, really smart.
Yeah. And like I said before, we've already had some like hints throughout the parts of this movie that we've already hit on that the police are corrupt and these guys are not here for the right reasons, right? And so by the time that Andy and Rama are having this conversation, the movie has already sort of planted in your head that like the police are kind of operating as just another gang in this world. Like they're not like here to, I think Rama even says at one point, or Jaka actually says around here, I think. Because after the fight, or no, it's before the fight because Jaka gets killed. Jaka is talking to the lieutenant and he's like, hey man, like you got to tell me what's going on. Clearly, there's no backup, so you're going rogue, but I know that you wouldn't be here on the ground if this was your idea. People don't do their own dirty work, right? And so he's like, somebody sent you here. And the lieutenant's like, I'm not giving you any names. And he's like, I know. And Jaka is basically like, we're not here to do good. This is a gang hit, right? And like that's a thing that I also love about this. By the point you're at in the movie where you have the conversation between Rama and Andy, it's already clear that like the cops are not here to enforce the law. This is dirty, it's all the whole enterprise is like they're no better than the drug gang, except for maybe Rama himself, which is sort of like, that's the critique that you could levy against this movie, is it's like they do sort of take the like, it's bad apples approach, right? Where it's like, oh, because even Andy has the line later where he's like, not everybody that you salute to is rotten. Here's the good cops that you can report this to, right?
Right.
But I think it's like pretty smart and savvy that the movie sort of positions the cops as like just another faction in this sort of criminal underworld. And that it's like, yeah, like the lieutenant is just another pawn on this board, like we're all just kind of doing the same. We're all playing the same game, and it's all about money, But yeah.
Andy and Mad Dog drag Jaka's body back up to Tama's penthouse.
Yeah.
And Tama confronts Andy and being like, "Hey, I saw you on the security cameras.
Yeah.
You came back empty-handed."
Yeah, you didn't kill that cop that I saw you enter a room with. What's up
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah.
I really like the scene. I think that the actor who plays Tama is like really intimidating.
Mhm.
And he's intimidating in a way that I think the best like action lead villains are, where he's like he's not the guy who's going to be like doing the martial arts. He's like the guy who is like he's like sort of quiet and subdued a lot of the time.
Yeah, he's playing it understated, which
in the way you want.
Makes him stand out for
Yeah.
being an otherwise pretty thinly sketched villain.
Yes. It again reminds me a lot of Mama in Dread.
Yeah.
Where it seems like he's mostly just disappointed. He's mostly just like, you had so much potential and now I have to just put a knife through your hand. So yeah, they're basically like his plan now is basically like, clearly this guy has some kind of personal connection to you. That's why you didn't kill him. So I'm going to use you as bait, basically. And so they string him up from a chain in the ceiling, and just Mad Dog is just using him as a heavy bag. Which is wild. He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna get boxing practice in on this guy. And like so Rama meets back up with the lieutenant and other guy. And their plan is basically like, we're gonna go to the 10th floor. Actually, Rama kind of has to talk him into it, because the lieutenant's basically like, let's get the fuck out of here. And Rama's like, no, like not without everybody else.
Yeah.
So their plan is to get up there and take out Tama, and Rama obviously wants to take his brother home. But first they have to go through the drug lab full of guys.
Right. The drug lab is a great scene because it's another just visual change in this movie where you have like the lab equipment and cocaine everywhere flying around.
I love, by the way, that they are actively still manufacturing drugs. Like they are in a huge police raid has been ongoing. There have been explosions a couple floors below. There have been bullets flying through drywall, and these guys are just clocking in for their shift at the heroin factory.
Yeah, man, those drugs aren't gonna push themselves.
It's like, you don't get to like stay home if there's like bullets flying through the walls. You still have to be like, it's like,
I don't think
Walter White is still telling you to get to work.
I don't think these guys have PTO.
Yeah,
you know,
right?
like or benefits.
Yeah. What they do all have is martial arts training.
I think that's a requirement.
Right, yeah. Tama's like looking at resumes and being like, well, I see you're really good at making meth. You have great bookkeeping skills. Unfortunately, you're only a white belt in Penchik-Silat, which we're gonna need green belt or above minimum. For this role at the drug lab.
How many kicks can you do in 10 seconds? Nope, not enough.
Yeah.
But I like that this location is a little bit more open compared to the rest of the movie where things are pretty claustrophobic.
Yeah.
This we got tables, we got some space in this area to have different groups fighting each other at the same time.
Yeah, and after a few sequences of relatively few guys attacking at a time, when we get into the drug lab, it's like, oh yeah, there are moments where like 6 guys are attacking one of these dudes at a time, and we get to really see some of the like martial arts prowess. Yeah. There's this is the room with all the concrete pillars where dudes are just getting thrown into concrete pillars. There's like a great moment where Rama grabs a guy by the leg and like swings him around like 270 degrees, and his face just hits one of the pillars, and there's like a great like splat sound effect that they use.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure another guy gets like his back broken. He like gets thrown into a table or a filing cabinet or something. There's a great moment where the lieutenant is getting mobbed by two guys and Rama throws a knife into one of their backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the lieutenant slamming a guy's head into a table, and then he picks up a chair and chucks the chair.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all really cool shit.
Yeah.
Um,
But my favorite fight in the movie
yeah.
is Andy and Rama versus Mad Dog.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot deny that this fight whips ass. I think the thing that holds it back for me is partially the location, which is just a big empty gray room. And I kind of think that the Jaka Mad Dog fight is like more visually dynamic in terms of like the surroundings, you know?
Yeah, but it's a big empty room with Chekhov's fluorescent lighting.
That's true.
You know?
I kept thinking those big blue barrels in the corners were going to come into play,
Yeah.
but they don't really.
So yeah, Andy's strung up. And they start fighting.
Yeah, I love that Mad Dog lets Andy down from the ceiling because he's been beating the shit out of him. And he like, then Rama shows up and Mad Dog's like, you know, I could just kill this guy while this dude is chained to the ceiling. But what fun would that be? I got to face two guys at the same time, you know, otherwise it's not a challenge. So he lets Andy down. And like lets Rama bandage Andy's hands first, and like lets them both stand up and get ready, and then he starts attacking them.
Yeah,
it's great.
Andy does a thing where like he grabs Mad Dog mid jump kick and like pulls him down to the ground, and then Mad Dog gets on top of Rama, and it's the same thing that we saw with the Jaka fight where the sound cuts out and we get that kind of drone, and it's clear that he's going to snap Rama's neck, and then the coolest thing happens.
Yes.
where earlier the fluorescent bulbs were broken and Andy stabs him in the collarbone with a broken piece of fluorescent bulb.
It's so cool.
And Mad Dog keeps fighting.
Yes.
He gets up and keeps fighting.
For like multiple minutes after getting stabbed with this bulb, he's like still going.
Yeah. And now Rama has the opportunity to fight him and he starts breaking his bones.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, him breaking his arm is so fucking visceral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's in the very beginning of the movie, that montage of him waking up and praying and exercising. He does the Donnie Yen thing where he does like 15 punches
like the Wing
in
Chun
5 seconds.
Thing. Yeah.
He does that on the speed bag, and then he does it on Mad Dog here.
Yeah. Yep.
To kill him. And it's fucking awesome.
It's so cool. And then he finishes him by cutting his throat with the fluorescent bulb.
Yeah.
He just like, it's already stuck in his collarbone and he just drags it across his neck. And I love that the camera just holds on Mad Dog's dead body for a while after they leave the room. And you as the viewer are almost waiting for him to just get back up.
Yeah.
Because this guy has been such a badass the whole movie that you're like, is he dead? And also, like, my headcanon is he's not, and his character in John Wick 3 is just the same guy.
I think so. That's kind of what I think, too. I think Mad Dog found a really good surgeon to patch him up.
And that's just him fighting John Wick.
Yeah. The lieutenant shoots the one other guy that they're dragging around.
Yes, the last nameless dead meat just gets like dispatched. Yeah, because the lieutenant like shows up at Tama's command center.
Yeah.
And is basically like, hey, the jig's up. We're going to handcuff you. And Tama's sort of like, are we really going to do this? And so you know that something's, fishy here. And yeah, then the lieutenant just blows away his own guy. And basically the whole situation is like, yeah, this was all a big setup. But it seems like it's a double cross because the lieutenant was basically, it seems like his orders were get Tama and leave no witnesses, right?
Yeah.
But then as he's trying to take Tama out of the building, Tama's like, you don't even know, dog. The guy who gave you orders to get me gave me orders for this whole thing to happen. So he's like, he's been playing you the whole time. You are not supposed to survive this. Like this whole situation was to get rid of you. right?
Right. And the lieutenant thinks that he's going to be rewarded and like basically take Thomas' place in the organization.
Yeah.
But it was all a setup.
I love Tama just like talking shit to this dude, and you just see this guy, like you see the gears spinning in his head and being like, oh fuck, I'm so screwed. Because Tama's like, yeah, if you come back alive, they're just gonna kill you. Because the whole point was for you to get killed.
Yeah.
You know? And as this is happening, like Rama and Andy are like trying to approach the lieutenant. He starts shooting at them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, what the fuck's going on? And so then the lieutenant, like Tama is trying to psych him out, and he's just had enough of it. So he just blows Tama's brains out. He just like shoots him. And we see he's wearing flip-flops. Getting shot in flip-flops is sort of undignified. I would like to at least be wearing shoes. Closed-toed shoes. If you're going to shoot me in the head.
He knew that this raid was coming, but he didn't do much prep. He
Right.
just kind of woke up and was like, all right, today's the raid, and I'm going to be... it's casual Friday.
I think his mortal sin is hubris, right? He's sort of like they're not even going to get to the 10th floor. He wasn't really expecting to have to like, you know.
Yeah.
He wasn't expecting to be perp walked in his flip-flops.
Right.
But so that I love the lieutenant then, because you kind of see where this guy's head is at, right? Where he's like, I just shot this guy. If what he says is true, I am fucked, right? And so then he just puts this fucking 44 under his chin and is like about to like meet his maker, and then he just clicks through the chamber and there is nothing. and it's like, man, trying to shoot yourself and being out of bullets is like somehow sadder than successfully shooting yourself.
Right, because you have to get to the point, bring yourself to the point where you're actually going to do it.
Yeah.
And then you do it, nothing happens, and it's like, emotionally, where do I go from here?
Right. It's like, well, I can't even kill myself, right? Like, and so then Rama perp walks him out of the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is basically like, hey, and Andy has like a little exchange with him where he's like, yeah, like, not everybody you salute is rotten. Here's the good cop to take all of this evidence to. And then he like safely escorts them out of the building because Andy's basically in charge of the drug operation now. Like he's the kingpin now because everybody else is dead.
And Andy gets on the loudspeaker and tells everyone that things have gone back to normal.
Yeah. And then there's like the great exchange at the end where I love Andy walking out with them. And Andy says, you know, I can keep you safe in my world, right? If you're in the drug den, right? I can make sure that you are able to leave here safely. Can you promise me the same in your world? Which feels very pointed to me, right?
Mhm.
Where it's like, yeah, to some extent, justice is maybe stronger in the drug underworld than it is in the courts, you know? And then he like sends Rama through the gates. And Rama's like, so, like, you're just going to stay here? Like, there's going to be cops crawling this place. They're going to fucking burn this place to the ground. And Andy's like, hey, man, I belong here. It fits.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's the raid.
Yeah, that's the raid. I do have to say at this point, just because we haven't addressed it yet, at some point, you won't have noticed because we'll have edited it around it. We took a pee break and I did some Googling. Bowo is asshole cop. I was referring to him as the leader of the machete gang. I just want to stop anyone commenting about it. I am aware that I said the wrong thing. Bowo is asshole cop, who does get out at the end. He survives.
Yeah.
And machete gang guy is a different guy. Mess those characters' names up.
And he's just credited as
Machete gang number 1.
Yeah.
Is his credit. I love that there is a guy whose credit in this movie is drug lab guard number 21.
Did you watch The Raid or The Raid Redemption?
I technically watched The Raid Redemption, which is the international release.
So you had the Mike Shinoda score?
I did, yes, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, and then the credit song has Chino from Deftones on it.
Yes, it does. And the end credits, like the very last credit song, because there's two songs over the credits. The latter credit song is that one. And the lyrics are something like, kill yourself, give me a call if you need some help. which I think is a great line. But it was fucking wild when the in memory of card came up at the end of the credits, because there was some guy that the movie's dedicated to, which also, if the raid is dedicated to you, you did all right.
Yeah. I would feel honored.
But the in memoriam card comes up with this guy's name, and as the in memoriam card comes up, the guy from Deftones is going, "Kill yourself. Call me if you need some help." And then gunshot noises go off. And I'm like, that's the hardest in memoriam card of all time.
Yeah. I watched the version with the original score.
Oh, okay.
And I've probably seen the I have the DVD and it has both versions on it.
Yeah.
It also auto plays with the English dub.
Boo.
So I had to as soon as Rama opens his mouth to his wife and is like, "I'm coming back," I was like, I gotta go back and fucking change this.
Yeah, I did watch it in Indonesian with English subtitles, but it was the Raid Redemption, so the international release.
Yeah. That's interesting to me that they just did a whole different score for the international release.
I obviously didn't experience the other score, but I really enjoyed the score in the version that I saw in the Raid Redemption, which still maintained the moments of silence that you were talking about in those fights with the neck breaks. Those are still intact. So, and I think there is a moment of the Mike Shinoda score which I really, really enjoyed, which is in that last fight between Andy Mad Dog and Rama. There's like a great moment where it's been like slightly, there's been some like strings and like orchestral elements going on, and those like all drop out for a little bit when the fight gets really intense, and it just becomes like this like pounding Carpenter-esque synth.
Okay.
And it's really, really cool. And then like the strings kind of pick back up and those swells happen.
Yeah.
But there's like a moment where it's just kind of like do, 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 and it's really good.
Yeah, and the original score is a similar kind of industrial electronic feel to it with guitars and beats. But I don't think it really stands out particularly one way or the other. I think you'll probably get a similar experience. I mean, as far as I know, there's no changes to the editing and scenes and stuff like that. It's just the differences in the score and then the title. And so you'll probably have a similar experience with whichever version you watch.
And I definitely feel like the score didn't take anything away from my viewing experience. Like I'd be interested to watch the original version as well. But I was pretty happy with the score in the one I watched. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justice
David
is Gareth Evans' The Raid, the greatest movie ever made.
Oh, so I picked this movie, like I said last week, because I was like, it's our first movie of the year. We should start with an easy one, a fucking just an underhand easy pitch right down the center. I don't know sports. But the analogy I'm trying to make is we wanted something solid to start on. And I feel like I did a good job picking this movie. Because because it's like, I expected to love this movie. I have been hearing about this movie for over a decade. I finally got around to it. And it did not let me down. Everything I have heard about this movie is true. It is tightly paced. It is pretty elegantly constructed in terms of its visual elements. The choreography is obviously incredible. There are so many talented athletes that are a part of this movie, which is always a thing I love about like martial arts movies. It's like, like you see great performances in martial arts movies, but you also see athleticism on display. And it's like, it gives me the same rush as like watching like Olympic weightlifting and stuff, right? Where it's like, it's so cool to see what human bodies are capable of, you know? And it's violent as fuck, and it goes insane. And like The Raid is the greatest movie ever made. Like, of course it is. I don't know. I don't really feel like I have anything else to say about it. I think I said it. David, is The Raid the greatest movie ever made?
Justice. I've been really wanting to watch this again. I've just been like, I think it was on our episode ideas list very early when we started this podcast. In the last few months, I've been like, man, we should do the raid. Man, we should do the raid. And we did it. And I've come back to it. And I love this movie. This movie's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's just a violent feast of wonderful martial arts choreography, tightly paced and staged action sequences, and just a straight down the middle meat and potatoes action movie plot that like is such a recipe for success. However, biggest however ever, it didn't hit me like it did the first time.
What the fuck?
Just not quite. I don't know what it was. I genuinely don't know what it was. But the impact that this movie had the first time, the very literal impact, I didn't quite feel it this time. And I think other movies have come. There's a quaintness to the raid, where it is so simple and so perfectly distills action down to its like basest form. But I also feel like some movies have come along that have surpassed it and added so much to this type of action movie. Like some of the John Wick films, like Timo Tadjahonto's The Night Comes for Us, which fucking rips.
I do have to see that.
And even some of the sequences in the raid 2, which I would have to see again. Like we got car chases going on in the raid 2. Like we're not fucking around.
Right.
So like, no, the raid is not the greatest movie ever made.
This is
that,
maybe...
but that might just be a me problem. It's been a weird week. It might just not have hit me like it should have. And also, like, I watched Hard Boiled earlier this week, and Hard Boiled,
I do have to see Hard Boiled.
I do think Hard Boiled wipes the floor with the raid.
Wow.
Watching it again, I was like, you ever watch a movie and then you like forget how good it actually is?
Yes.
Yeah, that was me with Hard Boiled this week. I was like, oh, this movie is a 5-star movie, and somehow it is even better than I remember.
You know what movie did that to me last year? John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. I watched that movie again and I was like, this is maybe John Carpenter's best movie. I respect your no. And because, as previously mentioned, you're having a rough time, I'm not going to give you too much shit about it. But this is maybe the most mad at you I've been about a verdict in a while.
Here, I'm not happy about it. I don't feel good about it. I'm just trying to be honest, and that's all.
That's fine.
That's what I owe to the people.
Your truth.
That I love The Raid. It's an incredible movie. You should absolutely see it.
It does just kill me that on the spreadsheet this is going to not be a unanimous yes.
I know.
It's crazy to me that The Raid is not going to get a double yes.
It just didn't rock my world this time like it did the first time.
That's fine, I guess. It's fine. I'll get over it. Do you know what we're talking about next week? Because I don't.
So I had an idea for what we should watch next week.
Yeah.
I also think we might be taking a break next week.
That's fine.
Because of my schedule. So,
but next episode, whenever that comes out.
Right. When that comes out. This is another movie that I was like, I should watch this again. We should watch this for the podcast. I need to run this one back. It's a little movie called Deep Cover, directed by Bill Duke and starring Lawrence Fishburne.
Directed by Bill Duke.
Directed by the great Bill Duke.
I didn't even know he directed. Did he direct multiple movies?
He directed Sister Act 2, my friend.
What the fuck? How did I not know that? I feel like such a fake film fan for not knowing that Bill Duke directed Sister Act 2.
Yeah.
Sick. Cool.
So we get to talk about Bill Duke and some prime Larry Fishburne next week
Yeah.
or the week after. Excuse me. We'll leave it in. Leave it in.
I'm leaving it in.
Leave it in. We'll let you guys know. In the meantime, spread the word about the show. Tell your friends. Tell your family. And follow us on Instagram at TGMEM_podcast. Send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to.
Yup.
And we appreciate and love you guys so much. And until we see you again, as always, later, dipshits.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Greatest Movie Ever Made. Please remember to leave us a rating and a review, and to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We appreciate you supporting the show and spreading the word. Tell your friends to listen, tell your enemies to listen, tell your mom to listen. If your neighbor has an unsecured Bluetooth speaker, connect to it and play an episode. You can follow us on social media at TGMEM_podcast. And if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com.